world's changing fast, right?
It is.
If anybody hasn't noticed. Landscape's moving fast. What, from your perspective, does a marketing leader have to do, or any marketer really, to kind of really be relevant and stay successful in this kind of crazy time period?
I think I'm going to say some stuff that some people are going to like and some people probably won't like. But I can tell you as a CMO, it's 100% guaranteed you're going to get fired. So the day you start your job, you're on the clock. 100% guaranteed you're going to get fired. Great baseball coaches, great football coaches, great basketball coaches, they'll get fired at some point. CMOs, we're the first ones to go. So embracing that, embracing the moment.
Why is that though? Is it easy to scapegoat?
There's a whole bunch of reasons, I think. Yes, if business goes bad, it's the CMO's fault, right? If you have a good quarter, you must make great product. Yeah, no, it's a fact. And when I got my first CMO job at Converse, and there's some Converse friends here, it's like breaking my heart to see you, so good. When I first got there, my recruiter said to me, literally as I was starting, "Don't unpack your bags. I'm not going to be there that long." And I had just moved my family from Seattle, so I was like, "What? What do you mean? You're going to get fired." And I was like, "Well, that's amazing. Why?" "I don't know, but you're going to get fired. You're not going to last a year." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm not qualified for the job. I'm in way over my head. I have imposter syndrome, and I'm going to get fired. This should be fun." So I started looking at what CMOs were doing to get themselves fired, and I put my head down and did the opposite. Literally, my brief was, what would the CMO do? I'm going to do the opposite. And we built an incredible team, and I lasted almost 9 years, while I watched every other seat around the executive table turn 3 times. But then I got fired. I knew it was coming. And it's the most liberating moment of your life, when you realize, when you embrace the fact that it's going to end. I carry little notebooks where I write notes in all day. I always, when I open a new one, I'll go to the back page, bottom right-hand corner, and I write, "You're fired." So I know how the book is going to end. Cool, like, good. And then I think about all those blank pages in between, and I just try to write them and try to lead from what I believe is right. I don't follow buzzwords. I don't read Ad Age. I just don't do any of that. The marketers tend to be a group that follows each other. There's a new buzzword, everyone chases it. And then when I find everyone standing over here, it's super crowded, it's super noisy, I go look for the quiet corner in the room where I can make some noise. And yeah, but you do that, and it's a heck of a lot more fun. You're still going to get fired, but it's a lot more fun to do it your own way and to do things based on what you believe in versus what the industry is telling you what to do.
Nice. So let's talk about Topgolf.
Yeah.
Brand's been great. We're working with you, obviously. It's been really fun. What's that journey been like for you for the past couple of years?
Yeah, 2 years last week. We launched a campaign, like literally on my 2-year anniversary. So I'm going to get fired, probably. I'm just kidding. It's been great.
Sign our MSA.
So I used to jokingly say I hate golf. I'm not a golfer. I don't love golf. I never have loved golf. But I love what we're doing at Topgolf. I got a call from the CEO, who was a guy named Marty Stars, the most amazing leader, and said to me, "Hey, I need somebody to help me disrupt the game of golf." And we're determined to. So golf's got a lot of barriers to entry, right? Golf is run by rich white guys. I am not rich, but I can wear the quarter zip, and I can walk into any country club in the world and it look like I belong there. But I really don't belong there. I don't want to belong there. Golf has got barriers of entry. If you don't know how to play, it's hard to learn how to play. You got to buy clubs. You got to find a place to play. It's not easy. Lots of barriers. Lots of things designed to keep you out. So our formula is we want to make the game of golf more accessible. Period. Make it more accessible. The result of it becoming more accessible is it becomes more diverse. By default, it's a result of accessibility leads to diversity. More diversity leads to more fun for more people. Period. That's what we're doing. That's literally our focus every single day. We're focused on bringing the idea of more play to the world, but to change the landscape and the complexion of the game of golf, and we're doing that. And I can honestly say I'm in the late innings of my career, and I've never had more fun than what we're doing right now. Super fun.
Nice. In terms of audience, customers, I mean, it's, for us, that challenge of getting people to, talk golf, it's not golf kind of thing. Like, how do you look at this world, which is so transient, so fragmented in terms of audiences? How do you, in terms of think about building relationships with audiences, building relationships with customers overall?
Well, I think first and foremost, you got to stand for something. Right? You have to have a core creative idea for your brand. All the technology, all the data, all the analytics, all that stuff, it's amazing, but it doesn't help if you don't have an idea, if you don't stand for something, if you don't believe in something. We can slice and dice the consumer segments a million different ways, and we do. But at the end of the day, it's about the idea that the world needs more play in it, and that is something that everybody can relate to, and that is what we stand for and what we're trying to bring. It's funny, a couple years ago, I was at a golf tournament in Jacksonville with a friend of mine who runs our top tracer business, our technology tracing business. We were walking through the golf course. It was super stuffy. It was super hot. It was just like, this is a golf tournament. And we saw these two little kids, like 8, 9 years old, on top of a hill. They laid down their side and they rolled all the way down the hill. And they were laughing their asses off. And it was like a moment where I stopped and was like, look at that, dude. That's amazing, right? And he's like, yeah. If we did that, they'd kick our ass out of here. Like, they would literally say, all right, no more beer, you're out. And we said, what happened between that and where we stand today? The world sort of conspires against you being creative, conspires against you playing and having fun. So at that moment, it was like we got hit with a bolt of lightning, and we pivoted, and we're like, all right, we're going to make it all about play and all about bringing more of that feeling to the world. And so we don't really slice and dice. Yeah, we looked at the marketplace. We've got 6 different segments. We got all that stuff. At the end of the day, like, it's meeting people where they are and just bringing the idea of play to them. That's what makes. And again, if you don't have an idea, like if your brand wants to find me on my phone and advertise to me, if you don't have an idea, like I don't give a shit about you. And people don't get up in the morning caring about your brand. I hate to say this. I used to say to Coke, nobody cares about your brand. No one in the world got up this morning, any place on the planet, and stretched and said, man, I hope Topgolf has a new YouTube video today.
Is that on that point, the consumer journey, that point? Yeah, the map.
It just doesn't happen. But we sit in our offices as marketers and we're like, we're going to do a new YouTube video, we're going to put it out on Tuesday, and the world's going to change. And on Wednesday, the world didn't change. And we're like, oh, what happened? I said, well, because nobody cares. Nobody cares about your brand. That you've got to then start there and realize that you've got to make them care. And you make them care by showing them that you care about them, that you're adding some level of utility or some level of importance to their life. But if not, man, just get out of the way. We as humans, we don't need you nagging me all the time, asking me to buy something. We just don't need it.
Anyway, paid media. So, in terms of challenges, right? We talk golf, and we start working with you all. I mean, whether it's awareness, whether it's geographic challenges, what are the challenges you've run into, and how have you kind of overcome those in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, we're growing fast. We're building 12 venues a year. We build in marketplaces. We still have relatively low awareness in the markets that we have built, $35, $45 million venues in. So we're building awareness. My biggest challenge, though, is to keep ourselves and our team curious and interested in the world. We're our biggest competition. I don't get up in the morning and think about like what's my competition, because we really were a category of one, and our competition is our imagination and our inability to dream big and think big and push to the next thing. And that's my biggest challenge every day as a CMO, is to keep people focused on like what else. How do we expand the thinking, not just do what's already been done again and again, or do what the people next door, down the street, the other brands are doing. We just don't have time.
And do you find, and we find this too, I mean, it's your point of marketers being in kind of a bubble. How do you get them out of it? You know what I mean? In terms of how do you get them to act more like, hey, you don't have to read. I mean, I like to tell my boss, like, this, like, don't read Ad Age, please. Like, he's constantly sharing articles, and we're like, chill out, dude, right? Like, we're going to keep doing our thing. And how do you kind of keep that discipline and share with them?
I think it's, first of all, surround yourself with people that are curious, right? Two people that are sitting in the front row here, used to work, exit work with them at Commerce, both ridiculously curious people. We always push the brand forward out of curiosity, not out of arrogance. So I think it's just getting people outside the office. Like, I don't go to Cannes, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys go, and it's super fun and all that, but like, man, a lot of shoulder surgeries after Cannes from people walking around for a week patting themselves on the back. So orthopedic surgeons do really well several months later. But I just don't find the inspiration in things like that. I find the inspiration by getting out and seeing what real people are doing and hearing what real people are saying and having them say it to your face so you can actually like receive it versus just read it in a deck. So we encourage our teams to get out, see the venues. Lauren Hoffman, who runs our creative campaign development and our media, we're constantly out in the venues trying to meet people.
Yeah. You and I were talking earlier, I talked a lot about the fact that in media we get stuck talking a lot about what we call the plumbing, right? We talk about just the constant need to talk about, it's important, data's important, clean rooms, all the things we talk about that are just, you know, a constant conversation, but at the end of the day it isn't where the rubber meets the road. It's where the work is. I feel like, you know, for me, there isn't a lot of great work out there today. I think we're also focused on the machine, that we're not looking at the output as well. What work are you proud of, or are you interested in that gets you excited?
That's a great question. I'm super proud. We just launched a version 2.0 campaign called Come Play Around. Open invitation to have people come and come check out our venues and come play around. Yeah, I mean, marketing's become like this, like, it's all about like constantly, you know, performance marketing this, performance marketing that. Like, I get it, but I go back to my first point. If you don't have an idea, something that can inspire people that have money in their pockets, it doesn't matter what you're saying. Just the fact that you can reach me doesn't mean you're going to actually reach me. So I see a lot of brands in the world just lacking that sense of creativity and an idea.
Do you think it's more now than ever? Or
yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I think it's always been a problem, and the more tools you get, like, that's the thing. Like, when you lead a brand, you have to make sure you don't get distracted by the new tools. Like, you know, there's a new tool, with the metaverse, amazing. Like, you know, like 2 years ago, everyone was like, what are we gonna do with NFTs? And I'm like, NFT stands for not today. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing chasing all the things? We're forgetting about the people. And here's a little trick I do. I started it at Converse. I do it everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I have an empty chair close to me. And I go through a meeting. At the end of the meeting, I say to everyone in the room, in that chair was our consumer. She heard everything we said in this meeting. She heard how we talked to each other. She heard what we said. And she heard how little we talked about her. In fact, we didn't even refer to her in this meeting. Now let me ask everyone a question. Do you think she's ever going to buy anything from us again? The answer is no. She's not, because we don't give a shit about that. So get distracted with all the new tools and all the stuff. But don't forget, like, your job as a CMO. Yeah, see, some people will debate this. My job is to be the voice of that person. The voice of that person. My job is not to trick that person into how I can get them to buy another pair of sneakers or come to Topgolf a third time. Like, those are the results of showing that you understand and you want to connect and you care about them. You're the only person in the room, in the senior executive room. That's your job, to speak for them, not to them or at them, for them in that room. And that's how you survive. Because no one else at the ELT level, that's not their job. Everyone else has got a different responsibility. So bring that voice wherever you go. Bring that person wherever you go.
Last question. Advice. A lot of young people in the room. What do you advise them in today's kind of marketing landscape? How should they be thinking? What should they be doing?
You know, it's funny. I have 2 daughters, and one is in marketing, one works for Puma. And I always encourage her to be curious. Just constantly be curious. Like, when I interview people, and they get to my office, I always say, so if anyone ever interviews with a company at Topgolf and you get to my office, I'm going to say, you must be pretty good at what you do. You've got the technical stuff down, because you wouldn't have made it through the gauntlet if you didn't. I want to know what you want to know. And it's amazing how many people come with that prepared list of questions, and they ask the question, and you give them an answer, and they go, okay, and then they go to the second question. And what I look for is when they ask me the question and I give them the answer, there's a follow-up. Oh, like you said, tell me more about that. Because that shows curiosity. It shows that you have the ability and the desire to learn. And I sit back and I'm like, I don't care about your credentials. You're on the team because I know you're going to push us because you're going to ask questions. You're not just going to sit in meetings and have someone tell you what to do. And I think that's the thing. Be curious. Yeah, network, of course. You know, be nice to people. It's like simple stuff my mom and dad taught me. Be nice to people. Don't be a jerk. Work hard. Be honest. But be curious. Because if you're not, you'll hit a wall. And you'll wonder why your career isn't progressing. It's because you don't ask the questions that teach you the new things to push you through that wall, to get you to the next wall, and the next place that you're going to get fired. Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah. I'll tell you one more just really super quick story. When I was interviewing for the CMO role at Converse, like I said earlier, I was not qualified, in way over my head. I met with this guy from Nike named Mike Wilson. Super Jedi mind trick dude, really weird. Beginning of the interview, he says, oh, you're a marketing guy. Oh, by the way, I know a lot about you. I've read all about you. I've talked to lots of people. I know all about you. There's a good vibe about you. Just so you know, I haven't talked to any of the people that you know. I'm like, okay, this is the weirdest interview ever. White styrofoam cup sitting on the table. He goes, oh, you're a marketer. Explain. Sell that to me. And I look at him and go, you're kidding me, right? And he goes, I am. Good answer. I go, oh, okay, let's go. So he says, I only have one question for you. Have you ever gone all the way? And I'm a smart ass. I have 2 kids, and I'm like, yeah, twice. And he says, that's not what I'm talking about. And I go, I know. What are you talking about? And he's like, I want to know if you've ever believed in something so much that you would go all the way. You would put it on the line. And I was like, oh my God. And in that moment, there's only one answer, and it's the truth. Whatever the truth is. There's no interview answer for that. I said, oh my God, I'm ashamed to say I haven't. I've never gone all the way. He's like, well, you're going to need to get this job. And I'd say, I'll tell you what, if I get this job, I promise you I will. And he said, you just got the job. And I was like, amazing. This is super weird. Like, what? So a year later, I had this crazy project in mind, got it approved, all the stuff, like whatever. Went to China for a couple weeks, came back, my boss pulled the budget. I find out about it in the hallway. I get super pissed off. I run up to my boss's office, and I start with the words, first letter starts with an F, second word starts with a Y. Right? I just, boom, that was my opening line. And I said, you know what, you're going to fire me, and I just lost my mind on it. Because I was so passionate about this idea. And then I turned the conversation, I'm like, you know, you're going to fire me, I know that, you know that, this is the thing. Fire me over this. This is it. This sucks, fire me. If it doesn't, fire me over something else, but this is it. So 2 guys looked at each other, and they're like, all right, let's let him do it. So I did it. Long story, built the thing, all that stuff. I called the guy from Nike that interviewed me, and I said, dude, I did it. And he's like, did what? And I'm like, dude, I went all the way. And he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, see, I didn't laugh. But I see how it's funny. And I go, no, dude, I did. I went all the way. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean you don't know what you're talking about? Like, literally, this is like what inspired me to take this job. It's what drives me every single day. Like, what? What do you mean? No, I don't remember that at all. And I'm like, oh, okay. Wow, that's super weird, man, because that had a really big impact on me. And it sucks that you don't remember. And he goes, and then he paused and he started laughing. He goes, you know what's funny about what you did today? And I'm like, no. All I wanted in this moment was for him to say, way to go. And he says, good about today is going to make it just a little bit easier the next time you have to do it. Talk to you later. I'm like, but that mindset of believing in something, and it's something, it can't be like you want to paint the door red and your boss says no, and like, I wouldn't go all the way on that. But find the things that mean something to you and your brand, and believe in them, and put yourself and your heart behind it and into it, and you'd be surprised how many people will follow and how many great things you can get done if you're not afraid to get fired. Because you will get fired. Yeah. Great way to leave you, huh?
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all.